All right, then. I've got two new friends. Now, I was just telling Titus and my guests, what do the CSO, Old St. Pat's Church, a member of the Three Motennas, white slave liberators, what do they all have in common? I cannot begin to tell you. But all of this has come together, and a lot of this is the brainchild of a gentleman who is for more than 20 years has been working with the Old St. Pat's. He is Bill Fraher. He is the creative, artistic, and choir director from Old St. Pat's, and that was from 1991 to 2003. But he works with the CSO. He works with all types of organizations. And he brought with him Rodrick Dixon, who is a tenor. Rodrick possesses a tenor voice of extraordinary range and versatility that has earned him the respect and attention of leading conductors, orchestras, and opera companies throughout North America. In 2018, he will make his orchestra Sinfonica Nacional, RAI, debut as Eric in der Fliegenden Hollander. Did I get it right?
You got it, sister.
All right, conducted by Maestro James Colin. Your ballet helped me with that one. 20 years of that. But anyway, gentlemen, welcome to the program. And Director Bill Fraher, I want to speak with you first. So tell me what you are trying to pull together here. When we don't always think of, our Irish liberators during slavery as, and it's not something that we visit often. And then you're incorporating Frederick Douglass. What the hell were you thinking? I just got to ask you.
I've never been asked that before, quite like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're trying to make connections between two gentlemen, two liberators of the past who freed all kinds of slaves. One was Daniel O'Connell, an Irishman, and the other one was Frederick Douglass, whose 200th anniversary of his birthday we celebrate this year. And we're making relationships between the African-American community in the U.S. and the Irish.
Which is difficult because it can be a very painful relationship, especially in a city so polarizing like Chicago. Because of, the makeup of the police department and the fire department, and those communities don't always mesh. But let me just tell you, it is a lofty goal of yours, but it sounds like it works. What makes this work?
I think what makes it work is that people of different backgrounds and ethnicities get to come together in an organic, natural way without it being forced, and to discover our common shared history of the past, that the Irish brought Frederick Douglass to Ireland after he published his narrative of slavery because he feared for his life, so they brought him to Ireland. And then the Irish Quakers and the English Quakers paid for his freedom from slavery before he went back to the U.S. So that's a story you just never ever hear of. And Frederick Douglass and Daniel O'Connell traveled around Ireland for about, I think it was a year, speaking out against slavery.
Last May I was actually in D.C. and we did went to Frederick Douglass's home. It was just an amazing trip and to hear that history. But what is it in you, Bill, that made you want to tell this story?
Yes.
That's a good question.
Yes,
I'm a firm believer that that we are more alike than different, that we are one people, and that when we look at our history, there's all kinds of ways that we have come together in the past and done wonderful things together, and that's happening again today. And what makes you want to do that is to advance that cause and to do it through the arts.
You might go to heaven. So Rodrick Dixon,
from your lips to God's ears.
You won't have to go to purgatory. You might go straight to heaven. So Rodrick, who has just been, I guess, enjoying me, he's been cracking up the whole time. He is a very talented tenor. What does it mean for you to be a part of this project, Rodrick?
Well, Perry, I must tell you, first and foremost, I'm not alone in this journey. My wife, Arfreda Burke, also is performing in the show, and we've been a part of the Old Saints family due to Bill Fraher for over 20 years. And
well, have you converted to Catholicism yet?
Well,
then you'll really be a part of it.
Yeah, well, we believe in the Lord Savior Jesus Christ, and God is God, and the Holy Spirit, and the unction of the Holy Spirit. And so we're saints, and so we're believers, and we know that when we're with in the kingdom building, we're with all the saints. And so we spend a lot of times with our good friends at Old St. Pat's, supporting the church causes both on the altar, in the ministry, also in the streets.
So as an African-American male, was this, you're in a field, what you do, you have this unique position where you're dealing with different ethnicities, races, and cultures, and people from all over the world. This is your reality. But as an African-American man in America, it sometimes can be a little different. What your experiences are than on a global level, is it not?
Yes, and it's like going to school. And I'll make this comparison, or make a direct. I'll say it this way.
Okay.
When you go to school, you're in classrooms with all kinds of people. You're there to get educated. You're there to be informed. You're there to find out who you are. You're there to figure out what your real calling is. And so when you get educated, you with an amalgamation of people from all different walks of life. You're supposed to carry that experience from your home, from your church or synagogue, or whatever faith background, to school, to your adult life. And when you get in your adult life, you're supposed to act like you know.
And you're still learning.
So humanity is global. We are a global people. African Americans are global people. We know how to mix. We know how to do the hang. We know how to talk, be direct. And so as an African American male, it's easy for me because I know who I am. And I know how to be a part, become a part, share, and support. So that's why it was easy for Fraher and I, because we've been doing that for how many years? 300 years?
How long have you guys been married?
20 years this past
20 years.
January 18th.
Congratulations. Yeah. That is wonderful. So, Bill, I've got to ask you, what is the project? What are we going to hear, see, feel, experience?
Sure. We'll hear a 75-voice Old St. Pat's concert choir, 50 voice After School Matters, high school teenagers singing with us. 60-piece Metropolis Symphony Orchestra, an Irish trad band, 5-piece Irish trad band, African-American tap dancer Devon Suttles, Irish dancer Kathleen Grennan, Rodrick Dixon, Alfreda Burke, and 2 Irish singers, Catherine O'Connell and Rod Dixon. And then our narrators are Leanne Trotter. Billy Lawless, the senator for the Irish people throughout the world. Brian Weddington. And Daniel O'Connell's great-great-great-great-granddaughter, Patria Lenahan, dress designer from New York.
Tell me a little bit. Who is Dan? That's amazing.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about more about Daniel O'Connell, other than his relationship with Frederick Douglass. What else do I need to know about him?
Sure. He was the early 1800s in Ireland. He was a person that spoke out on behalf of against oppression in any form. He was the one responsible for the Catholic Relief Act, where Catholics couldn't vote or own land or worship or intermarry with other peoples in Ireland, and he broke that and passed a law to open up.
Now, that's something I didn't know. Yeah. I had no idea.
And he's also considered as one of Frederick Douglass's mentors. Historians say that Douglass was initially in favor of the South seceding. And Daniel O'Connell convinced him of the fact that, if there's slavery anywhere, it affects all of us, and we need to get rid of it anywhere. So Douglass came back to the U.S. and fought for the emancipation of all slaves, not just in the North.
I'm just going to have to, what they talked about Daniel O'Connell at Frederick Douglass's house in D.C., but they didn't talk about it to the extent that I'm going to have to look up more about this person.
Yeah, a great statesman and orator, and the two of them traveled around speaking together.
What is the reaction? Is it, or let me just say that, is our people's reaction much like what my reaction was when I found out about, like, I had no idea. How strange is this to bring these two communities together? Is that pretty much like everybody else? And do they react the same way I did?
You are not alone.
Okay. All right.
We've done this program a couple times before from different perspectives. And Juliana Richardson has been at two of them, and she's like, she was blown away, and she goes, "How come I didn't know about this?" And that's pretty much the response.
I believe that
they love the intermixing of the both types of music together
and the dancing. You have the tap dancing, and you have the Irish dancers,
and they do a dance off.
Oh my!
Together.
Oh yeah, they throw down.
Oh, get out of here, you tenor. Talking about they throw down.
Let me tell you, let's say, Perry, let me tell you this. In the show, there's a segment, and y'all got to come see this. There's a segment where O'Connell's famous phrases about liberation and talking about freeing people and human trafficking that's going on today, that, he's not here today, but the whole point is he's speaking to what's going on today. And the Irish dancer comes out and they say the phrase, and the Douglas phrase comes out. He's a great phrase from here, and then the black dancer go, and they go back and forth between the language of O'Connell and Douglas, and they're tapping, and the Irish tapping, then the black person tap, and they go back and they come together. Boom!
Wow, you scared the hell out of me. All right, then. It's 11:20 on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. Titus, does it sound fascinating to you? All right, then. Did I pull it together? All right, then. That's what I was a little bit worried about. We're talking to Bill Fraher, when we're also talking to Rodrick Dixon, and when we come back, you're going to sing. Yeah. All righty, then. I can't wait. It's 11:20 on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. All right, it is 11:25 on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. We're talking to Bill Fraher. He's the creative, artistic, and choir director. And is it called, was the Siamsa choir?
Siamsa nGael.
Oh, Jesus.
But it works for you too.
I don't speak Celtic, so that's hard for me. All right, and this is happening all on March 6th, right?
Right, at Chicago Symphony Center. Tickets are available at cso.org and oldstpats.org.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And so we also have Rodrick Dixon. He's a tenor. And he's going to be participating. What has this experience been like for you, Rodrick?
It's been unbelievable. It's exhilarating to be on that stage, to talk about Douglas. Nettie Douglas is coming. Alfreda will be singing "Let the World Say Amen." I'll be singing "Make Them Hear You," which I'll sing for you right now, which is from Ragtime. Okay. But it's the kind of experience that just says to me, this is what we're supposed to be about: inclusion, coming together, and celebrating something that's worthy. The show is really pointing towards human trafficking today, and that we want people to be aware that people are being enslaved all over the world today. Children are being enslaved, and so the show is speaking out. It's a call to action. Okay. And so
when did you know that you had this gift? When did you know?
I knew when somebody tried to tell me off. They told me where I was going. Okay. You know how they tell you off and say, "We're going to block you because we see where you're going." I said, "Oh, that's where I'm going."
Oh, wow.
I'm worthy enough to be stopped this early in the game that you're going to tell me this is what I'm supposed to be about?
And telling you can't do that.
We're not going to let you do it.
We're not going to let you do it.
But see, they're gone. I'm still here.
Rodrick, you're intense. You really are. You're
so
a little.
Are you, Perry? You're very.
We're too intense to be in the same room together.
Place is blowing up.
We might combust up in here or something.
I haven't had coffee yet.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I've had my tea. So, did you want Titus to play the music?
Yeah, I could tune up. I'm not afraid.
Let's do it.
Let's just do it.
All right, then. And the one, and the two, and the...
But this is to go out and tell the story. We're always telling these stories, and quite frankly, this is going to be told March 6th at Symphony Center. This is the story.
Okay.
Make them hear you.
All right.
Say something. Be about something.
Okay.
You know, we tuned it up. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Let's hit it. We're going to start the track from the beginning. We're going to start the track from the beginning.
Okay, start the track.
Turn me up a little bit so the people can feel it.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Let it echo far and wide. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. How justice was our battle and how justice was denied. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And say to those who blame us for the way we chose to fight, that sometimes there are battles that are more than black or white. And I could not put down my sword when justice was my right. Make them hear you. Go out and tell the story to your daughters and your sons. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And tell them in the struggle we were not the only ones. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. Your thought can be a sermon for the power of the pen. Teach every child to raise his voice, and then my brothers, then will justice be demanded by 10 million righteous men. Make them hear you. When they hear you, I'll be near you. Author! Yes! That was amazing! That was amazing! Thank you so much. Oh my God, I've got goosebumps. Bill, what is it like for you to work with work with these people and bring them together? What's it like?
It's a delight. It's inspiring. It's thrilling. It's great to be surrounded with people so talented, with great ideas. It's a real joy. I'm fortunate to be able to do it. So thanks, Rod, and everybody else that's part of it.
Are you a native of Chicago?
About 100 miles south of here.
About 100 miles south. Well, listen.
I'm a country boy.
You're a jewel, too. Thank you both for being here. Again, you can get your tickets for the March 6th performance, and you can get it from the CSO box office.
And at oldstpats.org also.
And oldstpats.org. Thank you so much. Annette, Annette, what did you think, my beautiful news director?
Oh, my goodness. I was over here writing, and, I thought I heard the radio. I didn't know what I did. And I leaned back, and this big, illustrious, beautiful voice. I'm like, wow. And he's definitely theatrical and wonderful. So thank you for that. Bravo.
Yes,
bravo.
I needed it.
You're welcome.
Maybe I won't have to linger in purgatory after that.
After that, your sins are forgiven.
Thank you, Bill and Rodrick. Thank you so much for joining us today. What a pleasure.